Now, there's been some big trades this week. Big trades this week. We've moved around some major players. We got Bradley Beal leaving Washington for junk and going to the Phoenix Suns. Hey, Ishbill's all in. I don't like the fact that they didn't call Chris Paul and let him know that they're trading him. He found out from his son while he was on a plane doing his book tour. I just think that's ugly. And Chris Paul made a point to point out Isaiah Thomas's influence on the owner because he's the owner's right-hand man, but he's not an official. He's not an official employee of the team. So guess what? Isaiah can talk to whoever he wants to about whatever he wants to and advise in any way that he feels necessary without all of the red tape that a James Jones will have to do. But when you hear about the Kevin Durant trade, when you hear about Monty Williams going and you're not hearing James Jones' name, you know that man is just sitting there with a title and no power. So I wouldn't be shocked if James Jones is the next person to leave the Valley. But Brad Beal, do I like the fit? No. But do I like the talent? Absolutely. You got three guys who can average 30 a game. You have three guys who can get a bucket, three-level scores. You have three guys that are going to put defense in a tizzy. Like, how do you guard them? It's an offensive game now. I think they have so much firepower that they're going to be one of the best teams in the West, especially if they move off of DeAndre Ayton. If they can move him for serviceable big man, a little bit of depth, then they're going to be okay. But here's the one thing I kind of want to talk about with this. I keep hearing people talk about depth, and depth matters in the 82-game season, but depth doesn't matter in the playoffs. You're playing 7 people, maybe 8. So when I hear all these talks about, well, Phoenix good at their depth, and they were already shallow. Who played for Denver? We love Denver. They had their starting 5. Then off the bench, you get a little Bruce Brown. You get a little Jeff Green. You get an occasional Christian Brown. That's it. You only saw DeAndre Jordan when Jokic was in foul trouble. You only saw, you didn't see Thomas Bryant after the regular season. And he played big minutes for the Lakers for a while. So this idea of Phoenix needing depth, it's not true. They need defense and they need a table setter. Because I think if Book is your table setter, you're taking him away from what he's best at, and that's getting buckets. But they have duplication. They'll always have a 30-point scorer on the court at any given time. And yeah, Brad Beal's health has not been ideal, but Brad Beal has been on bad teams. And sometimes I think that if your team has no chance of winning, you'll sit out an extra game or 2 or 3 or 4, extra week or 2 or 3 or 4, because what's the point? We knew he was going to sign that Supermax contract. And we knew once he signed that Supermax contract, he was going to look to get out of there, but he wanted to secure his bag. And I'm not mad at him at all. Next, Boston made a big move, right? They shipped 3-team trade. They shipped Marcus Smart out of town, and in return, they get Kristaps Porzingis. Smart goes to Memphis. Memphis sends Tyus Jones over to Washington. We're not going to spend too much time on that piece, but Kristaps to Boston, I think that's nice if Kristaps can stay healthy, because now you're looking at a starting 5 of a Derek White or Malcolm Brogdon. Take your pick at point guard. Then you have Tatum and Brown on the wings. Then you can go Rob Williams, if he's healthy, at the 5 and Kristaps at the 4, or you can go Al Horford at the 4 or 5 and Kristaps at the other big position. And I think that provides something very unique. It gives him the ability to play 5 out. Now, if Kristaps is healthy, imagine Joel Embiid having to guard Kristaps on the perimeter. Even if they go to a smaller lineup and he's the 5 and Tatum's the 4, and they got White and Brogdon out there and Jaylen Brown, I don't see Embiid being able to guard Kristaps, right? I don't see Joker being able to guard Kristaps. So when you have this big who can shoot and you can spread him out, that creates a mismatch for the emergence or the reemergence of the big man in the league. The more so back to the basket, slew-footed, slow big man. So it'll be interesting to see what Boston can do. They're now the championship favorites. I wouldn't take them. I just wouldn't. And hopefully they make another move. But Brad Stevens, you took a shot. You got rid of the heart and soul to make your team a better team. Now, I would have liked to see Chris Paul end up there, but he's in Golden State. Chris Paul and Steph Curry together. You know, top two, at one point were the top 2 point guards in the league. They were battling in the mid-2000s, really through now, and now they're teammates, right? You got back in 2014, 2015, the Clippers giving the Warriors the business. The Warriors, 2015, the Warriors win a hard-fought series, and then Steph takes off. When we thought it was going to be CP's turn, Steph takes off and he passes him. You saw Steph shaking the ooh out of CP3 many years ago. You see CP3 dog Steph a couple times. Then you see this past season when Steph got that bucket on CP3 and he's like, this ain't 2014. But in 2024, we're going to be on the same team. It's amazing what can happen in 10 years. Enemies become friends, friends become enemies. You know, but I'm interested to see this. I think it's going to be good. Take Steph off the ball a little bit. Let Chris Paul play with a smarter team, more motion, less pressure on him. He can take more games off. He can play less minutes and maybe get through a season for a long playoff run. But what does this say about Chris Paul? If the Warriors become contenders, if they win a ring, is this Gary Payton for the Heat? Is this Jason Kidd for the Mavericks? Is CP3's ring, if they win one, is it going to be a little bit more dull than everyone else's? Is he going to be like, oh, well, yeah, CP3 did get a ring, but, he wasn't. I don't know. But I'm happy he has the opportunity to do so. Now, what's interesting is how he works with Draymond. Two big personalities, two guys who kind of operate, who facilitate the offense, kind of operate out of the high post, mid-range type of guys, whereas CP3 can hit the shot, can hit the pull-up a lot better than Draymond can. What does that look like? Or are the Warriors preparing for Draymond to leave? We'll see as the offseason continues to unfold. But they pushed Jordan Poole out of town. I knew it. I knew Poole wasn't going to be splashing no more with the Splash Brothers. It wasn't going to be the Splash Brothers in the pool. Nah, because the pool has got to go. Not enough splash, too much sass. So Draymond had to whoop his ass. And for those of you who are like, oh, yeah, the Warriors chose Jordan Poole over Draymond, that's why they gave him the extension. No. When they signed the deal, I said, okay, his stock is up. We give him this big deal, and guess what? We can trade him. He now has a tradable contract because his rookie contract, a late first-round pick, you can't get any value back for it because in the NBA, you have to match salaries. So now when you got 30 mil, 32 mil, you can match Jordan Poole's salary with a really good player. And guess what they did? Match his salary with a really good player. But what the hell are the Wizards doing? We're tanking a year after Wemby. It's a weak draft class coming up. So now we're going to just blow it all up. New front office, I get it. But I'm curious to see what this looks like. Tyus Jones, point guard with the pulse. Jordan Poole, probably going to average somewhere between 22 and 25 points per game on a terrible team. Do they retain Kuzma? I doubt it. But I'm just interested to see what Washington's going to do. I'm not going to watch them. They'll probably be a fun league pass team from time to time, but I'm not going to watch too much of them. But I'll check their box scores. I'll see what's going on over there. Because, yeah, they full blow up here, but I just I don't know why they would take on Jordan Poole's contract now that it's about to kick in. They're gonna have to be paying somebody $30 million, but I guess you got to pay somebody. You got to hit that cap floor. And lastly, in the moves, we got Marcus Smart to Memphis. Dylan Brooks is a goner. We kind of knew he was a goner, but he's definitely a goner now because Marcus Smart can fill that defensive role, but he can also step in and be a seasoned leader. I think that'll be good for Ja, a guy who's played over 100 playoff games, been to a finals, been to 5 Eastern Conference finals in the last 7 years. I think he brings some of that vet toughness experience that team needs. Hopefully, he's allowed to be a loud voice in that locker room and help those guys grow up because Memphis has so much potential. You're going to have Ja playing 25. He's going to be out for 25 games because of his suspension. So maybe that allows Marcus to get embedded into that team while Ja's away, and then Ja comes in and it's all go. Take some of the defensive pressure off of Ja. And hey, man, Smart ain't scared to take a big shot. He ain't scared to miss it either, but he ain't scared to take them on.